Hello everyone. My name is Ashish Kumar Jha, and today I am going to teach you a poem, My Mother at 66. This poem has been written by Kamla Das. So we will see in this video that what this poem is about and how beautifully it is written, what the message of this poem is. So we are going to cover the entire poem today. So stay with me and just like this video, enjoy this video. So you can see this poem, this poem actually teaches us about the foundation, about the love of mother and her daughter, right? So before we start this poem, let us begin by the three stages of mother and daughter relationships. So you can see, as a child, we often feel that we cannot live without our parents. We are totally dependent upon our parents, right? Our parents looks after us, and you can see here this picture vividly explains this relationship: infant, baby, child, right? So this is the time when we are totally dependent on our parents, right? You can see then the next age that comes. Next age that comes is young adult and teenager. This is the age when we feel that we are a kind of friend to our parents, right? We say a lot of things to our parents, and we treat our parents, and our parents also treat us like a friend. So we are kind of very free when we come into this age, and they are guide also for us. They guide us. Then the next age is of adult, where we as a children, when we become old enough, right, it is our duty to take care of our parents. So you can see this picture. So here I have actually sum up you, I have told you about the relationship, the three stages that we share as a human being. We share mother-daughter relationship, right? So you can see we are coming to the next section, which is introduction, Kamla Das, right? We will read more about Kamla Das. So look at this. You can see here that Kamla Das, she is a renowned she is a renowned Indian poet, and she has written a lot of, she has written a lot of things, a lot of poems she has written, right? These poems are about human, and as I told you that this poem is totally dealing with the relationship of daughter and mother, right? So this poem is specific on that, but she has also written many other works. We will cover up something about her work and who she was, right? So let's see this. Kamla Das, her pen name was, she used to write in Malayalam also. So Malayalam pen name was Madhavi Kutti, and later on her later she adopted what, she converted herself into Muslim, right? So name Kamla Suraya, right? And she was born in 31st of March 1934, Thrissur, which is in Kerala right now, and Malabar Coast, which is known as now in Kerala, as it is written here very clearly. And it was the time of British India. We know very well that the India was not independent those time. So she was born in British India that time. Let us move ahead. And on 31st May 2019, she died, aged 75. She was at the age of 75. She died at the hospital in Pune, and her body was flown to her home state of Kerala, right? She was buried at Pallavam Juma Masjid at the Thiruvananthapuram with full state of honor. So as I have told you that she was a poet of a big stature. Before we start any poem, it is our we need to know about the poet first, right? Because why this help us to understand the poem very much, right? That is why I'm going to tell you something more about this great poetess Kamla Das. So she adopted, as I told you, that she adopted the name Kamla Suraya after she embraced Islam, right? She changed her name. You can see here her name changed. Kamla Suraya is written here, right? She used to be an Hindu, but later she changed herself, converted herself into Islam, right? And look at this. Let us know something more about her career, right? As an individual, we have our careers, right? Whatever career we choose, we opt, right? We does some work in that, right? So we have to know about her career. So Das first book, Summer in Calcutta, she wrote her first book. Her first major work was Summer in Calcutta, was a promising start. This was a very nice start for her, which brings for her name and name and what popularity for her. And she wrote chiefly of love. Now what she used to wrote mostly, that we need to know. Now she wrote chiefly of love, betrayal. Now betrayal is a word, means what? When you betray someone, you kind of cheat, right? So here her work chiefly describes about love, about betrayal, and the consequent anguish, right? Now what happens after love and betrayal, that she used to explain in her work. I mean, she used to write about these themes. And the age of 42, she published her autobiography, which is known as My Story, right? Which was later translated into many foreign languages. Many authors' work has been translated. This is how we enjoy the literature, right? You can see there are many British writers, there are many Americans writers whose work has been translated into English, into Hindi, that we enjoy. And there are many writers, Indian writers, whose work has been translated in various languages, which they enjoy. That means the people around the world, they enjoy it, right? So you can see here that she has written her story, My Story, which was later translated into many foreign languages. Kamala Das wrote on diverse range of topic, as I have told you, that she has written different on different topics. Some of the topics which I have told you, like love, betrayal, and the consequent anguishes. Then Kamala Das wrote on diverse range of topic. Her works openly and frankly, here you have to understand this, that openly and frankly talk about female feminism, desire and experience of being an Indian woman. Now what is that experience of being an Indian woman, right? As you know that she has changed herself from being an Hindu to she become a Muslim, right? She is aware of, actually she was aware of the the culture of India, and how many stages a woman has to pass through, and what a woman has to endure. All those things she has written about, right? So you can see here, yes. So this is the poem. The very poem that she wrote, that I am going to explain you line by line. I'll explain you everything in the poem. I'll explain you in detail. So enjoy this class actually. Now what is the poem says? What the poem says here, the driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning. As he says what? That Kamala Das has gone to meet her mother, and from there she is returning. She is taking a back journey. She is going to Cochin to take a flight, because we all have commitments, we all have works, right? We go to meet our parents, but then we have to go back to our duties, our responsibilities that we have to do. So she had gone to meet to meet her parents, and then she is returning, right? She is going to take a flight. What happens that the line very simply says, Kamala Das had gone to her parents' house, right? And she was then going to Cochin airport, from where she had to board an airplane for her journey back home, right? She had to take flight to return back. Then what happens? She says what? I saw my mother beside me, dozed, open-mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked. Now what she says here, that when she saw towards her mother, she become very upset. Why she become very upset? because her mother was beside her. She is driving in a car. She is driving a car, and her mother is sitting just by the side of her. Okay. So her mother is like, she is dozed, kind of sleeping, you can say dozed, and open mouthed. She's you can see the picture. You can see the picture here. What this mean? Open mouthed means, she is dozing. That means taking a nap, and then her mouth is open, right? Her face is like that of a corpse. She says what? She become very upset to see her mother's face, because she does not seem healthy. She didn't seem healthy at that time, right? And realized with pain that she was as old she looked. She says what? That when she saw the face of her mother's, it was looking like a corpse. A corpse means what? A corpse means what? A dead body. D-E-A-D, dead body. Right? So you can see a corpse is just like a dead body. Here you can see ashen means like ash. Ash, you know that? Ashen. Right? So you can see, so ashen like corpse. Her face looks like that ash. So she is here making a comparison, right? Comparison, it's a assembly we will talk about later in this class, that what this assembly means. This is a figure of a speech. We are going to talk about more figure of a speech in this video, right? So first look at this. First we are going to cover what the entire poem says, what the each line of this poem are saying. That is very important. So look at this. Ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked. That means she looked very old. It's not that she was seeing her mother first time. It was not like that she was seeing his mother first time, right? Actually, her mother is very old, and that reflection of age is very obvious. Again, I'm telling you that reflection of age on her face is very clear. She has grown very old. And why this upset her? Because Kamala Das can see the sign of approaching death, right? Very obviously, very clearly, the words, because this poem is written in a very simple word, you can see here that her face ashen like that of a corpse, right? This is very important line. So ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked. She looked very old, obvious, right? She compares the face of her mother of that ash. That means she has grown very much old, and that is the reason of being upset. That is the reason why she worries about her mother's face, right? So as it is written also here, you can see the poetess describes her mother as old and pale. Now pale is here pale is a word here. What does it mean? If something is faded, right? If something looks very pale, very weak, you can say someone who looks very weak, right? Faded, right? Colorless, you can say. So you can see that this pale, her mother's face looks very pale. And then she looked almost like a corpse. Her face was colorless and seemed to have lost the fervor of life, right? So fervor of life, there is no any fervor. That means any freshness of life, right? It seems that her end is about to come, right? Which really upset, right? Which really giving distress to the narrator. You can see this face, the picture. By this picture you can understand even better, and you can realize the state of mother. Then what is next? I hope you are enjoying. You will definitely like it. Now look at this. But soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes. Now what this line says? What this line says? She says what? Because as she saw her mother's face, she did not, she was very upset, right? So to put that thought away, because we cannot see our parents like that. Nobody wants to see their parents is growing old, and that fear of being separated from the parents is really very harsh. So to put that thought away, what she says, but soon put that thought away and looked out at the young trees sprinting. Now she tries to look out of the car, of the running car, because the atmosphere of the running car is really very intense, is really very sad, right? So she does what? She looks out, and when she looks out of the running car, what does she says? What does she looks? She looks what? Young trees sprinting, right? And the merry children spilling out of their homes. These are the pleasant sight. These are the pleasant things that she saw. And then what she does? Because she just wanted to, what is her purpose? Her purpose is to divert her attention, because she can see her mother sitting beside her. She has grown very much old, and she can realize the approaching death. The sign of death is very obvious on her mother's face. So as a child, we never want ourselves to separate from our parents. We never want that, right? So, to divert herself, she just looks towards the young trees sprinting. Sprinting means what? Sprinter, you must be aware of the sprinter. A sprinter is someone who runs. And so you can see, as she looked out of the car, she can see the trees are running back, right? So trees is actually here a symbolism of, it's a symbol of what? Of energy, of growth, right? Of positivity. Right. So you can see here the merry children is also the same thing here, right? And spilling out of their homes. They are coming, spilling out of their homes means what? They are coming out of their homes, they are playing, they are, shouting. So all these things you can see, indicates the positive thing here, the positivity here. Now move ahead and we will see. You can see here it is also written, the tree symbolizes life and growth, and the children are symbolic of youth, vitality, vigor, life and growth. That I have already told you, that she just see all these things to divert her attention from her mother, right? Because to see at his mother is very painful. Now let's move ahead and see further. Now, but after the airport's security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her, wan, pale, as a late winter's moon. Here also you have to understand, this line is very important, as late winter's moon. What does this line suggest us? She is comparing, she was comparing her mother with the late winter's moon. Again, this is a sad image. Now, what this sad image is? But after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, as she has reached as the airport, her mother is, she is standing a little distance from her mother, and she can look from distance. She can look to her mother. What she observed that her mother's face was looking wan. Again, wan. Look at this word, wan. Wan means what? It is faded. Okay, so you can see here that wan means colorless, right? You can see pale is here another word. All these words are associated with the sad thing, right? Her mother's is not looking. Her mother is not looking energetic, right? So you can see as a late winter's moon, and then she compares her mother with the late winter's moon. How does she looks? Look at this. There is a picture also for you to understand it better. You can see this picture. In the winter, you can see the moon is not very clear, because in the environment there are fog, mist is there, right? So it does, you will see that the moon is not very clear. It is not very obvious, right? So her mother's face is like that only. So here also you can see there is a piece of simile there. This is one of the beautiful example of simile, right? So it is written, as it is written here, poet's mother was aged and hence looked pale and colorless like the late winter's moon. Winter's moon lacks luster. As I told you, luster means what? Brightness. It lacks a brightness. There is no brightness. The brightness, if you see the young people, if you see something is full of life, you will see there is a luster. There is what? There is brightness. And brightness, similarity, mother face had lost radiance and is now misted by age. As I told you, that she had been misted by age because she is growing old, her death is approaching, and the narrator is not sure about that if she comes next time, will she be able to see her, if she will not be able to see her mother again, right? This is what she means to say. And what is next? The winter's moon that appears at the end of the year symbolizes the ebbing state. Now you can see the ebbing state. What? Ebbing is something which is declining, right? Ebbing means what? Something, if something is declining, I'm going to write it here, right? So if something is declining, or you can say decreasing, right, that is ebbing state of mother's life. So her mother's life is ebbing, that means declining every day, right? And that worries him most. Now what is next? And felt that old familiar ache. Ache means what? Pain. You can say pain, right? And felt that old familiar pain, my childhood's fear. So he says what? That, as a child, when we separate ourselves, from mother, suppose if you are going somewhere to your parent or to your mother, right, especially, you hold her very tight, right? You hold her hand or something, if you are walking or going somewhere, kind of fair or mela somewhere, right? You are very much worried about her mother, right? You think that she should not leave your hand, right? So here what she says, that old familiar ache was there. She remembers about her childhood when she was thinking, because she was very much young that time, and it is very painful her to part herself from her mother, right? So, and then, but what she further says, that all I said, see you soon, Amma, all I did was smile and smile and smile, right? Now narrator here says that she is very much aware, right? She is very much there is a kind of horror in her, because she does not want to be separated from her mother. She is very much attached to her mother, right? And the state has come, because the death is that is what? It's a reality. Man is mortal, everyone has to die one day. So she knows this fact very much, but she is in the state, she cannot share this to her mother, right? We knows a lot of true fact, but we cannot share it because it is very painful to everyone, right? And so all here what it says, but all I said. Now all she said, this line says that there is a lot of thing which is hidden, which is buried in her, but she could not express all those things, right? She says what? All I said was see you soon, Amma. All I did was smile and smile and smile, and she could just smile. This smile, repeated smile, is actually, she means to say by this line that she had hidden her what? You can say she had hidden her grief, right? Her sorrow, her pain, she had hidden it. And that is why she said what? That all I did was smile and smile and smile. So this is the end of this poem. You can see here, I'm going to tell you these lines also. I'm going to read for you that Kamala Das, bids a formal adieu to her mother, that means farewell to her mother, with the hope of seeing her soon. And she smiles only to hide. She smiles only to hide her anxiety. As I told you, she smiles. There we sometimes smile, for in front of the people, but just to hide a lot of things which are unsaid, which we cannot say to them, because we know that if we will reveal all the fact, it will bother them, it will upset them, make them upset. That is why a lot of times we just hide all those things. So here what she says, that she smiles only to hide her anxiety and fear of the unknown. The unknown means here the death that may approach anytime, and she also want to bid a cheerful farewell to her mother before she boards the flight, and then she cheerfully take a adieu, farewell to her mother before she boards the flight. So this is the total explanation of the poem. Here we are going to talk about something about the figure of speech, which is very important for any poem, right? And many poems, almost all kind of poems, includes figure of speech, without which you cannot understand the poem fully. So look at this. So figure of speech used in this poem. In this poem, as I told you, the very prominent figure of speech which is used in this poem is simile. Now, simile is what? It's a very simple figure of speech. A simile is a figure of speech that draws a comparison between two different things. It's an indirect comparison, you can say, right? We mix comparison between two dissimilar things with the help of word like and as, right? So here you can see, I can give you some of the examples of simile. Sleeping like a log, right? And then my love is like a red rose. This is the famous quote said by Robert Burns. And then idle as a painted ship. This line has been taken from Saint St. Coleridge, the Rime of the Ancient Mariner, which is a very famous poem which is given in class 10, right? So you can see this line, the idle as a painted ship upon a painted ocean. In this poem also you can see the obvious similes are there. So you can see example from the poem here, like that of a corpse as a late winter's moon, right? So these are two the example of simile. As a late winter's moon is also example of simile. I have already explained you about it. Like that of a corpse, that means when her mother's face was looking like a corpse, she compares the ass, her face, her mother's face with the ass. And as a late winter's moon, right, she again compares her face, her mother's face with the late winter's moon. So this comparison is very clear in the poem. But there are other figure of speech also which is used in this poem. So look at this. Repetition is the repeated occurrence of a word in the same line, like a smile, which she says in the poem just to hide her emotions. She does not want to reveal all the emotions, right, to her mother. You know, if you see your mother's face is very, looks very unhealthy, right? You cannot say that, mother, your face is making me sad, or your face is not healthy, or you cannot say that. It's very painful, right? So here simile and this a smile and a smile is used here. You can see this word is repeated again and again, right? Then there is another figure of speech also. You can see the contrast is also very clear in this poem. Now the contrast, you can see the lines here, that her face like that of a corpse, trees sprinting, the merry children playing, right? So what this contrast means, these are the opposite ideas, right? You can see the face like that of a corpse and the trees sprinting, which are totally opposite in the meaning. You can see here that trees is sprinting, that means trees are running. Trees, as I told you, that it symbolizes life, growth, vitality, vigor, right? Merry children are also, they are the positive symbols. And look at this, the negative symbols, like her face like that of a corpse, right? So the comparison is very clear here. Now the old age, youth, all these are, old age and youth are very opposite to each other. Then there is another figure of speech which is assonance. Assonance is what? When you see a certain vowel is repeated, right? When you see in the sentence or in any line of the poem, right, if any vowel sound, you know very well, is repeated, like you can see o is repeated, too many times. You can see 3 times it is repeated, right? So here this is one of the example of assonance. Let's move ahead. What is written there? Now children spilling, that means children are coming out of their home, they are playing, they are laughing, they are shouting. So this also, this metaphor is actually the comparison. Metaphor is what? It's a direct comparison, right? So this children spilling is the comparison is being made with the mother's state. You can see the mother has grown old, right? She is very weak, right? Her face looks like ash. Her face is compared with winter's moon. So you can see that this is another comparison, right? So metaphor is also used here. So this is this is the end of this poem. I hope you must have liked it, you must have enjoyed it, and if there is something that you think that is missing, you do tell me into the comment box, and which poem or a story or any grammar topic you want me to teach you again, right? Please write in the comment box. I'll certainly do that. Okay, so thank you. This is all for today.